Hey YouTube, Shenole here again, and welcome to episode 3 of the Night and Day tutorial series. In our last episode, we had created this project folder which contains these other 3 folders. One of them being images, where we are holding all the pictures that we had downloaded from the GitHub repo previously. And now, at this point, we can actually start coding things out. But before we do, just a heads up, the software I'm using to record this series I believe has a time limit of 9.5 or 10 minutes, so I'm going to be moving kind of quickly. So if I blow through something too fast for you, just make sure you leave questions in the comments section for me, and I'll try to answer them as quickly as I can. Alright, that said, let's go ahead and start coding. So the first thing we're going to do is create our HTML file, the index.html, and the one way we could do that in Atom is to right-click on the project folder, click New File, give it a name, and we have our file. But now we have to fill it with something, so there's a nice little shortcut in Atom where if you hold Shift and get your exclamation point, you click on Tab, you end up with all of this nice markup that you could possibly need for just about any project you would ever want to start. The only thing is, we're going to change the title to Night and Day. That's a little bit more appropriate. Now the next step we're going to do is we're going to try to save ourselves a little work for later. So we're going to actually put in the tags needed to point to the files that will eventually go to the styles and the scripts folder. So first, let's do the style sheet link. So link with a rel of style sheet, and the href will point to the styles folder. And the name of the file will eventually be main.css. And before we go to the next thing, let's make a correction. That shouldn't be a minus, it should be an equal sign. Okay, now above the closing body tag, we're going to put our script tag, and the source is going to be the scripts folder. And the name of the file eventually will be app.js once we create it. We just haven't done it yet. Close it out. There you have it. So let's save this. And we're going to open this up in a browser so that we'll be able to watch the changes. So you go to the Night and Day project folder, click on the index file, and you'll go to the browser and see nothing. But that, of course, will change by the end of the video. So moving on, we're going to create the sections, and what's going to be different from the original code in the GitHub repo is we're going to add comments, which I think is a good thing to do. So this will be the header, and we're going to create a div with a class of frame. And the reason... Oh, and we're going to give it a unique ID too. And the reason for the class is because we're actually going to have another div with the same class but a different ID. And that's mainly because they're going to share a lot of the same styling characteristics. But for the unique parts, for the little differences, we're going to target the IDs. And this is just to try to keep with the convention of DRY, dry, or don't repeat yourself. All right, and let's give this a comment of footer. Okay, now let's do the next sections. Next will be the sky, which will hold all of the all of the images that we have from the GitHub repo. So sky, and you know what? Let's call it sky plus content, just because I feel like it. All right, and so let's make the div, give it a class of, yeah, that was right. Give it a class of sky, if I can spell it right. And let's close it out. Good. All right, we did it. Now, one more section we're going to need. It's going to be an overlay. But we're going to call it start screen, because this is where you're going to land when you first come to the site, and it's going to contain all the instructions for operating the site. So we're going to go ahead and call the overall section, we're going to give it an ID of overlay. So let's overlay. Okay, close that div up, and then, oops, and then within, whoa, what just happened? Oh, duh. Let's do that, and let's, oh my goodness, I'm just messing up left and right here. There we go. All right, and then within this section, we're going to have all the instructions. So let's give it a div with an ID, of instructions. There we go. Close that bad boy up. All right, now we can start filling in all of these sections. So within the header, we're going to have a heading of H1, the H1 tag, and the heading will say, "You will not believe it." Night and day. Notice this is all lowercase. That will be addressed in the next video. All right, so in the sky section, we're going to have all of the images, like I mentioned before. So in source equals something. Let's close it. And there's going to be 5 of these. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And each of these will be drawing from the images folder. So images, and then the name of the file. In this case, it'll be sun.ping. Oops. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to paste it in all of these quotation marks because they're all coming from the same folder. Oops. They're all coming from the same folder, just different file names. So for example, this one will be moon. This one will be stars. And then these last two will be backgrounds. So those are the BGs. So let's do BG01 and then BG02. Now, all of these will also have IDs or classes. And you know, I will address why some have IDs and some have classes. I'll address that in the next video. But just follow along for a moment. So that one will have an ID of sun. This will have an ID of, you'll not believe it, but moon. I know that's crazy since the file is moon. This will be a class. Let's do class of stars. You know, I try to keep names easy because you never know who might be coding something after you. This will be land. And this last one will be a class, and we're going to call it land overlay. All right. Now let's fill in the instructions div with instructions and a header. So let's give it an H2 heading. Close that up, and this should say how it works. So let's write how it works. All right, again lowercase, again to be resolved in the next video. Now we're going to need the instructions, which will all be in p tags. And so now you're going to notice I'm actually well, actually I don't want to open up a Camera Word, so I'll just code this the way I was originally intending to. So the instructions here, what did I write down? Click the night button to move from day to night. So let's click the night button to move from, what was it, day to night? Yeah, day to night, period. All right, and to save time, we're going to copy this, and we're going to paste it 3 times because we have 3 sets of instructions. This will be number 2. This will be number 3. This will say day. So then this must say day. Oh, but wait, if that says day, then this should say night. Haha! Okay, and then click the reset button. Whoa. Okay, reset button, and then this will say something different. This will say to return to this screen. So to return to this screen. All right, doing good. Let's save it. Okay, next we need our buttons, and that'll be the last part of this video. So let's create the buttons. I'm going to try to move quickly here because I think I'm out of time, but I'm just going to continue anyway, just in case I was wrong about the time limit. So button, each of these will have an ID. In this case, it'll be night, and then they're both going to have p tags with a class. Let's see, class of button text. Let's do that. Button text. I think that's what I used before. I'm actually going by memory for a lot of this. Let's close this p tag out, and now there's 3 buttons, so we'll do that. Save a little time. This middle button will be the reset button. So we should, of course, say reset here. And then finally, this last button will be the day button, so it needs to say day. And we're done. So let's save this, and we're gonna look at the changes in the browser. So let's get to the browser, refresh, and there you have it, our beautiful website, just the way we want it, at least at this point. So anyway, so with that, I will say go ahead and hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe, share this video with someone you care about, and I will see you in the next video where we will tackle the styling.